Tonight, as Geoffrey described, I'll present the most memorable or the most valuable organization award, the All-in-One. This award is reserved for that rare organization that embodies all four areas of excellence that we measure: innovation, collaboration, leadership, and societal benefit. I have had the pleasure of working with a number of leaders in this organization over the course of the past year, and I can tell you what they've accomplished and what they're setting out to do is truly amazing. But really, their success speaks for itself, particularly since the new ownership took the reins a few years ago. And in just a few short years, we've seen this organization named as the most sports team of the year in 2014. They won the 2015 NBA championship. They delivered the most regular season wins in the history of the NBA at 73, and the most combined regular season and post wins at 88. It is home to the most Googled athlete on the planet, responsible for the most exciting player acquisition in recent memory, which hopefully we'll hear something about tonight. They have presented us with a truly visionary plan to build out the Chase Center in the Bay Area District in 2019. And most importantly, they will be our NBA champions in 2017. God willing. This is really the easy award to present. So it is my pleasure, and on behalf of Accenture and all of your fans around the world, to present the All-in-One Award to the Golden State Warriors and their CEO, Jay Lacob, and owner. And I'm going to invite Joe, as well as Bob Fitzgerald, to join me on the stage for a quick discussion. For those of you who don't know, Bob Fitzgerald, many talented, 20 years now, play-by-play announcer for the Warriors. Okay, congratulations.
All right. Over here?
Oh, yeah, over here. Yeah.
I got to hand this to you.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll take this.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want you to sit here.
Okay, hopefully everybody was thinking the same thing I was during this. Is this a set from Love Connection or Match Game? I was just wondering. We have Bert Convey's mic here, but I feel like Joe's Bachelor number 3 or something. Just in all candor, I carpooled with our owner today. This is like the greatest Uber driver in the history of Uber. You could ask him anything, and he's got all the answers. But let's start with 6 years ago. You buy the Warriors. I know, working there for 20 plus years, that they had 17 years of not making the playoffs. So when he's rattling off 73 wins, championship, 88 wins, it didn't come overnight. And so one of the tenets of the Churchill Awards All-in-One is leadership. And I think your venture capital background, the leadership was your evaluation of people and hiring people. Where do you synthesize that? Because we'll start with Bob Myers, who's your general manager, who was a player agent, which is hiring a bank robber to run bank security now, because he's your GM for your team. But talk a little bit about leadership and just evaluating the people in all the different departments with the franchise.
Well, Bob, I don't know about bank robber. Maybe that's not the best analogy. But first of all, thank you to the Churchill Club for this award. It's a great honor, and I'm always amazed when a sports team can be in the same dais with some of these great companies that have obviously built very valuable organizations, employ a lot of people, and create a lot of value. So, to your point, at the end of the day, I like to say, my job is really kind of similar to what it was in venture capital for 25 years at Kleiner Perkins. It's really to pick people because, all I do is set high goals for our organization and then go out and get the very best people to hopefully achieve those goals, figure out how to do it. And that's what we do. We're relentless about the types of people we bring into the organization. And it had to be because when we bought this organization for the world record price at the time of $450 million, those are pretty expensive courtside seats. But when we did that, I remember sitting there at the first game and thinking, oh my God, this is terrible. What have we done? I mean, the team was terrible. I can tell you that in the first 6 months of sitting inside the organization, the management wasn't too good either. And we had to ultimately changed, to your point about people, 80% of the management, 50% probably of the entire organization in terms of the people, maybe more. And who you choose to bring into an organization like that is, just like it is in a startup or in any company in Silicon Valley or anywhere, it's everything. It's the people. It's all about the people. Set high goals, hopefully have the right goals, and then bring in great people.
Well, and I think that one of the tenets also is collaboration. And normally, it's a top-down approach in pro sports, where you have a GM or an owner, and they make all the decisions, and the team sinks or swim based on their acumen. Your basketball department, Joe Lacob, Bob Myers, Jerry West, Kirk Lacob, Travis Schlenk, Larry Riley, this is one where courageous conversations occur. Why should we do this? Justify this decision. Make your case for this player. Do this trade. Don't do this trade. Where does that leadership come about, where the collaboration and the free flow of ideas is allowed and encouraged for the betterment success of the whole group?
If you are, and I'm sure that a lot of other guys in this room, there's some great CEOs, if you don't encourage openness, if you don't encourage having an opinion, you're not going to be successful. So the most important thing to me, anyway, in forming this organization, I've been a venture guy for a long time, been involved in building companies, but I wasn't the CEO. When you're there in the CEO's role, and by the way, it's your capital for the most part as well, the number one thing is you want to hear what other people have to say. You want to listen very carefully, and you want them to have opinions. So from day one, in our organization, number one, you have to have an opinion or better be somewhere else. And we air them. We shut the door. We air the opinions about the draft, with player selection you're referring to in basketball, but on the business side as well. We air opinions. We argue. We yell at each other even. We're pretty open about this. And at the end of the day, we don't take forever to make a decision. We accumulate all the data. We analyze. We come to a decision. We close the door behind us, and we're all on the same page, and we make the decision. And we go forward. Obviously, we had an architecture, a framework of what we were interested in building that was the basis for the types of players we're going to bring in, because it is about architecture, just like it is with a product or a company. You're building a team. So that's what we had to do. We had to encourage this kind of discussion, this kind of discourse, which always is a good thing. So I guess what I'm saying is the only thing I brought to that party was, having seen a lot of companies over a lot of years, having seen a lot of CEOs, I knew that what I didn't know, which was most everything, and I just wanted to encourage discourse, encourage conversation, and the only thing I'm good at really is listening. And if you listen hard, and that goes for inside the organization and for outside the organization, you listen hard, and smartly, you're going to come to the right conclusions usually.
Branch Rickey, who ran the Dodgers for years, said luck is the residue of design. Well, the Warriors got really lucky this summer with Kevin Durant signing as a free agent. But it wasn't a multimedia extravaganza. It wasn't financial overpaying. It was you traveling with several of your players for the personal pitch to join this organization. It really was your collective group of players as being part of the Warriors that eventually sold him on wanting to join and be part of this elite team.
People ask me all the time, why did Kevin Durant choose to come to the Warriors when he could have gone to any other team and frankly looked better doing it, right? Because he got criticized this summer a lot for joining a team that had won a record 73 games and came within, unfortunately, 56 seconds of winning another championship. I think it was 56, am I right? It's hard to forget. He came fundamentally because of two things. He came because of the culture of the organization that we had built, the honesty with which we represented and built it, and more importantly, he came because of who he was going to play with, the players. Not because of me, not because of Bob Myers, not because of Steve Kerr, our coach. I mean, the Bay Area helped. Some of these things all helped. A call from Jerry West helped. But he came because of these players who I flew out there to meet with him in a strange place, East Hampton, which is very remote, by the way. On July 1, it's hard to get a hotel room, by the way, too. But we went there with all these four key players, and we met with them, and we just honestly and openly said, this is why you should join this team. And these guys sold him on that. We didn't even we had a presentation. We're good at making presentations. It's the business we're in. And didn't even show it. I never got to show it. I just said, we don't need the presentation. There's an old adage that says when you get the order or you know you're getting the order, just shut up. And I could tell we were getting the order here. So let these guys do their thing. In fact, I had them leave the room without me there, without us, the management guys there, and just talk to this guy. And, that was really what happened.
One of the core tenets of this award is societal benefit. And you have, sports is one of the last communal places that people gather. There's 20,000 people at Oracle enjoying the Warriors. We talk about social media. Sometimes these phones and other devices make us the most antisocial. When you got 20,000 people cheering for Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, we have a psychotic owner courtside who's enjoying himself as well. That's about a communal event. And your societal benefit is the Warrior Foundation. You give away more millions of dollars than any other sports franchise. You do it in groups of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 increments. I've made those phone calls to all Bay Area organizations for underprivileged people. And when they get a phone call saying the Golden State Warriors would like to give you $50,000 to better your community or do something special, we talk game changer, it's life-changing for some of these groups. Where was the impetus for that? Because that had not been done in the NBA prior.
Well, that might be a little aggressive. He's a great salesman, as well as being our broadcaster. It might be a little aggressive to say it hasn't been done. It's been done, but probably not thought of as being done in as big a way as we thought was necessary to do, and certainly are on our way to making it a lot bigger. And that is the giving that this organization does. We are, essentially, and you've heard this from other owners of sports teams, I don't really own the team. Who owns the team is, at the end of the day, the fans, the community, because it's going to be here long after I'm gone. So we have a role in society, at least in the Bay Area, at a minimum, to do good, to use that product, that the fact that we get all that attention, that dais, to do good. And one of the ways we can do good, you have to pick your mission. It's like anything else. For us, it's underprivileged education. And from day one, our goal would not only win an NBA championship. By the way, that is number one. I will be clear. Not only to win an NBA championship, but also to do good in the Bay Area community with this platform, if you will. And so we started the Warriors Foundation, or restarted the Warriors Foundation. And a lot of you have been involved in, I'm sure, various things where you raise money. They create an endowment like universities do. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you only give away a certain percentage every year. I don't know. I don't have the patience for that. We wanted to have an impact, so we give away everything we raise every year, and we start over. It's a lot of hard work. Thank you. But that's what we do. I think we gave away $3 million this last year, which is the largest, unfortunately, the largest in the NBA. And I can tell you that is going to grow by leaps and bounds as whatever we do in terms of building our organization for the future, we are alongside, and we'll sort of announce a lot of those plans pretty soon. We're going to be increasing the role of the Warriors Foundation, again, targeted at underprivileged education throughout the Bay Area. We're going to announce a lot of new programs, and I think it's going to be pretty surprising to a lot of people, the magnitude to which we're going to take it.
This is my phrase for Joe and the ownership, and we have a lot of our executives here, and that's agitate for excellence. You win a championship, and most people put their feet up. We won a championship. We sit back, and then we top 83 wins with 88 wins. And then, well, everything's sold out. We'll just enjoy everything at Oracle, the ticket prices, the luxury suites, the sponsorship. Now let's build a new arena in San Francisco, in a city that has never had an arena ever. We'll privately fund it. We'll buy the land, and we'll build it ourselves. The innovation or the follow-on of not being complacent and agitating for excellence, where does that mindset come from, and why do you demand that from all the departments within the franchise?
Fear. Fear. I'm scared. I'm not going to get to do all the things I want to do in life. So I don't have patience. I don't have time to screw around. And I know look, I'm not going to criticize other sports team owners. They can go about doing whatever they're going to do. And I know how teams build arenas and stadiums historically, which is they go get public money. I knew in the Bay Area that was very unlikely or was going to take a long time. And so from day one, we just said, forget it. Okay? Let's just do this privately. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be more expensive than you do it anywhere else. It's going to cost $1.1 billion, by the way. Most expensive arena ever done. It's just what it costs in the Bay Area. You know what the cost of business is. You do it every day. All privately financed. All, 100%, including buying the land, building the underground parking that doesn't exist in the mud, the Bay mud, which is a very expensive proposition. And at the end of the day, we're just going to have to figure out a way to make it work. We're going to have to figure out a way to pay off $1.1 billion and make it still be a profitable business. And the way to do that is to, frankly, think big and to think these are the things we can do. We can create a large enough organization that's going to be profitable, that's going to be able to pay off the debt service required on that, that's going to build an arena that will be around for 50 years privately. And I think we're proud of the fact that we're doing it that way. And the truth of the matter is we have more control over what we're doing by doing it that way than we would if we were publicly financed. So I'm not saying everyone has to do it that way or can do it that way in other places. I thought we could do it here, and we are doing it here. And it's working.
Could you be a little more passionate? The next time we do one of these, could you bring a little more passion to the thing, please? I mean, Joe, come on.
It's like being courtside in one of the games. I can't control myself.
We had an ugly incident at dinner because when Garrett was talking about Shell and robots, Joe was feverishly taking notes because he was like, Durant, Curry, some robots. This could be something. So you never know with this guy. What would be the final takeaway? If people said, I came to the Churchill Club, I saw Joe Lacob, he told me about the Warriors, where they've gone, where they're headed, and you want this group of elite people to take away something about the Warriors' success that maybe they could co-brand or bring into their organizations?
Well, I have the fortunate aspect of the fact that I have been involved in the Valley for a long time, 25, 30 years, building companies and helping build companies. And, there's something about the nature, as you all know, you live here, there's something about it that's different than everywhere else. You can talk about doing this in Boston or other places they do tech companies. It's just not the same. We have this history. We have this culture. I don't know if it's in the air, whatever it is. It's all around Stanford and everything that gets done. And, I think we set our mind to say, here's an organization. I've been going to those basketball games for a long time. Bob, you were broadcasting them.
Yes, I was.
And I don't know how you made them seem interesting, but you did. They were terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay? Awful. And like everybody who wants to own a sports team, if you're a kid or an adult or whatever, you sit there and say, I can do better, because everyone thinks they can do better. Right? That's what sports is all about. And I said that. I can do better. And the truth of the matter is you can do better if you set the goals, hire the people, and just say, we're going to win. We are going to win. We are going to relentlessly pursue excellence in our organization. Inside, out, we're going to deliver a tremendous product. We're going to make people proud, and we're just not going to quit until we win the championship. And we're going to set a goal. We're going to win that championship. And that's the way we pursued it. It's the way we set it up. It may seem crazy to some people. It may have not seemed plausible. Some of the things that I said, I wish I could take some of the things back that I sometimes say. But the truth is, you have to, like any great leader, has to set these goals for the organization and then go out and get the best people and just go do it. Just make a great organization. And I say this, the reason I put it this way is because it's very much like in venture capital. It goes back to that for me. It goes back to the early days when we're building some great companies at Kleiner Perkins. And, at the end of the day, it's all about not how much did you invest here or there, how did you seed money here or there. No, it's not about all that financial stuff. That's the easy part. The hard part is building the companies. Building the companies, hiring the people, having the right product strategies, and building the companies. And you, as a venture capitalist, as a startup entrepreneur, as a CEO, you just make it happen. That's what the great leaders do. That's what Reed Hastings and some of these, they just make it happen. They figure out a way. And so at the end of the day, I guess I say to all of you, it's like what we're doing is no different. It's in the world of sports. It may seem different, but it's really the same. It's about setting these goals, hiring the people, and just being relentless about the pursuit of excellence and making it happen.
Give it up for the Warrior owner, Joe Lacob.